Hi, this is day 3 of my self quarantine. I came back from the States to Japan, and they're saying I should wait up, and quarantine myself for a little bit. So, with the help of my in laws, I've got this lovely old house that used to be her grandparents uh, to stay in. Anyway, so I'm getting a little bit bored, third day of it. And I was just thinking, well, breakfast, what can I do? And I've been watching a lot of Red Dwarf. Downloaded a bunch of episodes way back in the day, and I decided, you know what, this kimchi. What would Lister do with that? So I was thinking I'll do a kimchi and ham and egg. I'm not going to get those out right now. Fried egg sandwich. Oh, and le pièce de résistance. Marmite. I got this back when I was in the States. I remember seeing it in Publix and be like, Marmite in Publix? I have to buy that. So, and cheese. And cheese. Okay, I almost forgot that. So, tune back in. I'll be making this up and I'll show you how it works. And who knows? It sounds utterly disgusting, to be honest, but who knows? It might actually be good. Right, so here's the start. We've got our cheese and our 2 pieces of bread, butter, mayonnaise, Marmite, and knife. Oh, that in the back, by the way, that's Everglades seasoning. More about that in a little bit. Right, now one trick I learned from my wife, who's a tremendous cook. I can barely do anything in the kitchen other than this kind of thing, is to put mayonnaise and then cheese on there, and that makes it tastier. I think that's going to work really well with a Marmite. I'll see how it works with the kimchi. So anyway, just so you know, cheese, mayonnaise, rocks. Right, so now let's get started. So first, the Marmite. I don't know how much Marmite I've actually had before now. Vegemite a few times. A nice big dollop on the bread. My wife put this in the fridge when she stocked up the place, preparing for a quarantine. I think not Marmite, you don't put it in the fridge. I don't think either of us really realized that. But anyway, nice big dollop on there. And spread that around as best we can. It's not really wanting to spread, so I think I'll just pour another dollop on there. Make it extra Marmite-y. Anyway, don't sure how much Marmite I've actually had. I've had Vegemite a few times. Never forget, first time was with this Aussie chick I was friends with. Admittedly, I was probably more interested in her than she was in me. I think that was the last time we hung out, but anyway. Anyway, and she was like, some Aussie guys like to put a ton of Vegemite on their bread just to show you how manly they are. Of course, being smart, she didn't, and I loved it. I don't see what the problem is. Not only on Vegemite, so everyone was like, "Oh, Marmite, that's like Vegemite but stronger." And yeah, it's a little bit. It's got a bit of a saltiness to it, I suppose. But you balance that out with other things. You throw it on some butter. Yesterday I put it with mayonnaise. I'm not so sure Marmite and mayonnaise isn't that great of a combination, I'll be honest. So anyway, this isn't really going to spread very well, I'm afraid. It's just breaking up the bread and ruining the texture of that, so I'll just throw on the butter now. This is just old-fashioned straight butter, so it doesn't spread at all. I'll put it in the toaster and see how that works. So anyway, this, like I said, I am not a chef at all. Wait. But, you've got all this time. I've got 12 more days. It was 11 more days. 12 more days. 12 more days of quarantine. It's officially supposed to be. And you know what? When else am I going to try something like this, right? So let's see how it goes. Okay, so here's the first round. We've got our cheese and mayonnaise on the one side, and we've got Marmite and a whole lot of butter. That's way more butter than I would normally use, but I ended up getting some Marmite on some butter that was on the stick, and I just like, I don't want to have Marmite every day, so and we want to take it back sometimes, so I just decided to, hey, throw caution to the wind, a bunch of butter, what could be worse. So I'll put that on for what, 2 minutes-ish. Try to get that all nice and melted. And then next is the egg. All right, now I mentioned about the Everglades seasoning. This is Everglades heat. Now this is kind of a little bit of a spicy version, but Everglades seasoning, if you go to Florida, you've got any supermarket in Florida will sell Everglades seasoning. The stuff is the fucking bomb. It is wonderful. My wife uses it literally on everything. I've even tried recommending, I emailed the company once and told them that they should sell it in Japan. They never responded, but maybe someday they will. Regardless, their loss if they don't. This stuff rocks, okay? And it goes literally on everything. Now it's just salt and pepper and some spices. This has got a little bit of a kick to it, not very much. But anyway, the stuff rocks, and it works best on eggs. So I'll be showing you that in a moment. So to put the bread in for another 2 minutes. As you can see, the cheese is all nice and melted, and the Marmite and butter is ready to go. Just put in the egg and ham on the stove. I use heater here, by the way. And we'll get this all ready up in just a moment. And of course, the kimchi. Now, I love kimchi. Don't get me wrong. I love this stuff. But I have to say, it does make your fridge smell a bit. So we've got a little Osaka style kimchi. I'll put that on there, and then we'll see how things go. Oh, and I thought I'd mention this coffee cup. Sorry. Well, I have never been to a Tim Hortons. Been to Canada twice. Never been to a Tim Hortons. I got this cup from some dude who lived in the house I moved into, left a bunch of stuff, and took this along. So I've had this cup for like 12 effing years, and it's been, I don't know, it's funny. There's this cup that's like 15 years old or so. I've never been to a Tim Hortons. Heard it's something special, so, But Tim Hortons, thank you for the nice cups. Always fresh. Take the eggs. The egg, I should say, is about ready. Thinking about flipping this over, doing over easy on this. So I've never actually held the camera and cooked at the same time. So see how this works. Do some over easy. Oy. Okay, that works. All right, so I'm going to cook a little bit more, and then it's time to see how it actually tastes. So we're finally ready. Here's our egg over easy with ham. I'm going to put that on the Marmite side, the cheese on top, and then last but not least, the kimchi. Now, I do like kimchi. I get a little bit sick of the smell in the fridge, but I do love kimchi, so I'll be generous, and I'm going to call the sandwich the Dave Lister. So I think, although I don't recall any episodes that I've seen of Red Dwarf where he eats kimchi, I'll assume that he would be generous as well. So try to balance it out though, so it doesn't all fall apart. I'm sure it will, but we'll see how it goes. And all right, so here we have it. The Dave Lister, a kimchi, Marmite, ham, egg, and cheese sandwich with a bit of Everglades heat and mayonnaise. Let's see how it goes. So here we are. It's like what? Almost 6 o'clock in the morning, Moriyama, Japan, and I'm on my third day of quarantine, self-quarantine. First day, I was just tooling around. Yesterday, I'm still dealing with jet lag, so yesterday I was asleep. Today, I'm actually going to try to get stuff done, and I figured, first thing, let's do some kitchen experimentation. And the first is the Dave Lister, so let's give it a go. Here we are. Seems to have some coherence and seems to be sticking together. Let's see how it actually tastes. The Marmite and the kimchi do actually work together. Mm. The egg melts things out a little bit. Maybe a little bit too much Marmite, but you know, as something to work out. By the way, definitely have it nice and toasted. I think if this had been a little less toasted, it wouldn't have worked at all. Overall, not a bad thing. So, I remember the Dave Lister Marmite, butter, cheese and mayonnaise on your bread, fried egg and some ham if you want the ham, maybe something else. I think bacon would be better, really, but don't have it. And kimchi. It works. Give it a go. Not quite done yet. I just realized I hadn't given you all a nice view of the sandwich itself. You can see the Marmite on top and some ham and egg under there, and then a little bit of kimchi, and gives a nice red color. Overall, definitely a good thing, and not quite as spicy as you would think. The Marmite and the egg and the butter really do help to sort of mellow out the Marmite overwhelming flavor. You know, it can be a bit salty, right? Really helps work, mellow it out, still make it tasty, but just not so much. And the kimchi adds a nice little bite, and there's even a little bit of that Everglades seasoning. You know, gives it a bit of a nose. Overall, again, great combination. Strongly recommended. Seriously, self-quarantining, it works if you have someone else to help you. People absolutely offer themselves. I'm so grateful my wife prepared a little pineapple for me and brought over my nuts. So I'm a little hungry. Didn't eat dinner last night because I was jet lagged, just well asleep. But you know, it really works if you have someone else to take care of you or to help you out, and you take care of yourself. I just have to say this: if you know of any people who are self-quarantining, or if you're doing it yourself, then help each other out. Be generous with your time. Lord knows if I ever have to help other people, if I'm the one on the outside and other people on the inside, Lord knows I'm going to be trying to do at least as much as what my wife and her family are doing for me. So, thank you very much. Nuts and pineapples, by the way. Another great combination. You don't see it very often, but I appreciate it. See ya.